Today on UV Design Tips and Tricks, we're going to show you how to migrate your WordPress site to a new cPanel hosting account. So you just bought your new hosting account from your hosting provider. Chances are it's going to be cPanel. And chances are that you have a WordPress site. So how do you move that WordPress site to cPanel? There's many different options. You can do a manual migration, and if you know how to do that, you're probably not going to watch this tutorial. There's different plugins you can use for WordPress, but we're going to show you cPanel has a built-in migration tool that's pretty easy and pretty quick. So what you want to do is open up one tab with your current hosting provider information on there, so you can see your website, domain name, the folder it's linked to. Then what you go ahead and then is you're going to go ahead and set up your cPanel account, and you're going to put in new.your domain name. The reason we do that is to just give it a shell to set up cPanel. It can be called anything, but we just call it new, so that's where we know we're putting it at. And for this demo, I don't really care what the password is, since I'm going to destroy it when it's done. Not now. That's for if you're going to build a brand new WordPress install, but we're not going to do that. And we'll go ahead and let this set up. Once cPanel is set up, it'll launch you into the cPanel dashboard. Here's the domain that we entered in. If your domain is in the same account as your cPanel account, the DNS should automatically redirect, and technically you'll see the landing page since it's pointing to the cPanel account for us. We're going to go up here to Applications. We're going to scroll down to WordPress. We're going to click the little triangle for Import Existing Install. Since we're importing from a different server, we want to go do it from a different account. Go ahead and click Continue. And then now it's asking you the source information. So basically, what is the information where your current website sits at? And that's why we have you open up the other tab for with your other current hosting information. So we're going to copy the URL, paste it in there. The URL IP address we're going to leave blank. The protocol we're going to do FTP. You're going to get the server IP address. So depending on your old server account, it's somewhere on the dashboard. It's right there. So we're just going to copy that. Port number is going to be 21. Then you have up here files and FTP and FTP users. Again, your older server might look different, so you have to figure out your old FTP settings, but this is generalizations for your old server. We're going to use the tricks as the FTP user, and if you're not sure of the password, you can change your password right here. The path is where the folder sits at currently, and that's why also you need to have the other tab open so you know the folder. So that's going to be, you're going to go to hosted domains, and you're going to look at the domain and the folder it's in. Now the folder is all capitalized here, so it needs to be all capitalized in the inside cPanel here. So it's going to be /. Now the reason it has to be capitalized is in a Linux server, lowercase and uppercase do make a difference. So if this was all lowercase, that would technically be a different folder that Linux would recognize. The domain name that we want to go to is we want to go to the new .fix it and post films. And we're going to leave everything else the same. We're going to go ahead and let cPanel create that database automatically for you. And then go ahead and import. Now this does take a little bit of time, usually not too long. If there was any errors, the errors would show up here, and it would show you exactly what you have wrong. So maybe you have a wrong FTP username, password, path, or whatever. But the longer this process is, the better. It usually errors out pretty quickly. So we'll just let it wait. All right, now that your website's imported in, it gives you some little pieces of information, you know, the URL, how to get to the WP admin, and any support that you need from that application that you're using. So you can go back up here to where we see the landing page and you refresh, and then boom, your site is there. I always do tell people, make sure you go through it, make sure everything came over correctly and is working, but all the links are working. Again, this is just a test site. I didn't actually build this out or anything, but it is a working website with the links and stuff. So now, after you've done that, now you need to move the domain over. So you need to go back to your old hosting, and you need to remove the domain from that platform, because you can't have the same domain on 2 different servers, because the domain wouldn't know what to do with itself if you did. So go ahead and remove that. And then now we just have to wait for this to remove. On older servers, I've seen it take 5 minutes. I've seen it take up to a couple hours. It is what it is. No one can speed it up. You can't call your hosting people and be like, make this happen, because I've worked for a hosting company for 2 years and I know you can't make it go faster. So you just be patient. All right, now with your domain being removed from your old hosting account, let's go and bring the dashboard up for your new Cpanel account. So again, here you have the information from the import. Obviously, that's not the correct domain. So there's a couple different ways. Actually, there's only one way to change the domain. Just type in domain, change main domain, click on that, and that will take you out. Obviously, different hosting providers have different links up here in the URL, but this will take you to the dashboard where you need to change that. Now this loads up here. If your Cpanel account resides in the same location of where your domain is hosted at, usually just click here, select a domain from your account, and choose that, and then click change domain. Cpanel does this pretty fast. It doesn't take very long to do that. All right, once it's changed, the screen should refresh, and you should be able to see now that your Cpanel account is in that domain. And if we're lucky enough, since Cpanel should change the primary domain's prefixes and permalinks inside Installatron. Remember, Installatron is where we did the import for that. It should change all the links and stuff for our WordPress site. Instead of being new dot on all the links, everything now should be reverted back to the normal domain. And of course, everything's moving very slowly today. And see how the new is gone right there? So perfect, that's what we want. Again, you can click literally right on that and it will take you there. Now you're wondering, maybe is it just residing to the old IP address? That's a great question. How do you check that? Well, there's different ways to check that. You have your IP address here. You can go to a website called whatsmydns.net. It's a great tool to know where your domain is pointing at and kind of what's going on with your domain. So you just click that. 107, that's my IP address. 107, so that is a beautiful thing. So now you have just not mainly, I guess you did mainly migrate to, well, you mainly entered the information to migrate your WordPress site. You let Cpanel do the migration for you, and you let it automatically change the permalinks and the database from new dot to your domain name. And that's it. All right, go ahead and hit the like button if you like this tutorial, and if you're interested in more tips and tricks for hosting, website design, server maintenance, go ahead and hit subscribe. All right, catch you later.